Hi, this is Tim Hinton, the Beast of the Marching Arts. I'm the host of the Marching Roundtable podcast and the creator of MarchingArtsEducation.com. Thanks for being here at our YouTube channel. We hope you'll subscribe so you can see exclusive live interviews, plus excerpts from podcasts, webinars, and interviews from live events. This is really the best way to find out what you might want to go back to our website and see an entire conversation. Thanks for being here. We hope you'll subscribe to our channel.
This conversation is sponsored by LCL Mentors, found at lclmentors.com.
Hey everybody, it's Tim Hinton, the Beast of the Marching Arts. I'm here talking to 4 Bands of America super fans. We're going to have a great conversation. Let me say hi to everybody. Kyle Class, how are you, Kyle?
All right, doing good. You?
I'm doing great. Thanks for being here. Michelle Debose, how are you, Michelle?
Having me, I'm great.
Thanks for being here. Shane Leonard, how are you, Shane?
Great, Tim. Thanks for having us here.
Absolutely. And Mark Martin, how are you, Mark?
I'm doing wonderful.
So glad you guys are here. We're going to talk about why we love Bands of America and how they can prove today that they are a super fan. First, let's go back around and let's learn a little bit about everybody. Kyle, I'll let you go first. Tell us a little bit about yourself.
Hi, I'm Kyle. I live in Florence, Kentucky, home of where the voice of BOA, Chuck Henson, went to school and all that and grew up in. Let's see, I went to Boone County High School. I graduated in 2006. I played trumpet. And right now I have a full-time job working for Amazon.
Very good. How about you, Michelle?
My name is Michelle Debose. I live in O'Fallon, Illinois, and I am a former band mom of a band student at O'Fallon. I'm not giving the year I graduated, but just following bands and enjoying life right now.
That's great. How about you, Shane?
Yeah, I'm coming to you all from Denver, Colorado, where I reside now. But I did high school in Fort Mill, South Carolina, and I did 2 years of drum corps in 2014 and 2015. And I also marched WGI, Professional Independent World, in 2015 as well. And I've been following BOA ever since the beginning, 2010.
That's great. How about you, Mark?
Hi, I'm Mark Martin. I live in St. Louis, Missouri. I was part of the marching band when I was in high school. I've been teaching color guard since the day after I graduated high school. I am not giving that date like Michelle. However, I'm marching Madison Scouts, and I teach a lot of color guards throughout the country.
First thing I'd like to ask you is, why do you love Bands of America? I'm just going to randomly start with Michelle. Michelle, you're a super fan. Why do you love Bands of America?
I love Bands of America for a lot of reasons. I think I just started as a band parent, and so I loved the opportunity and the atmosphere that it provided for my child at the time. Now, since she's been gone, it's more about how Bands of America has created a community of people just like myself that are fans even long before having someone closely involved in the activity.
That's great. How about you, Mark? Why do you love Bands of America?
I love it, one, because I was in marching band and I was participating with, I got to see Sylva Webster, who won the summer BOA in 1979 as a champion at Whitewater. And then I was with Normandy High School when they made summer championships in 85. I was with them as well. And then, of course, Chuck Henson is one of my really, really good friends, and I've followed him from the time he started being the announcer. And I've been going to BOA every year since 2010.
Wow, it's fantastic. How about you, Shane?
Yeah, I love Bands of America because, they're part of Music for All. And I think people think Music for All is just for, high schoolers or K through 12, but really it's for everyone who attends the shows and the events. So I think that's what, it brings people together in a shared experience that everyone can enjoy. So I think that's why I like it the most.
That's great. Kyle?
For me, it's the artistry and the compassion that the performers have for their shows and their program and everything. And I've been going, 2002, my high school started doing Grand Nationals and all that. And I've been going to Grand Nationals pretty much every year. And just the evolution of the artistry of the high schoolers or the band's performances throughout the years have been amazing to me. And that's why I'm a super fan.
Well, I love it. Those are all great reasons, and you're all right about all that stuff for sure about it. So do you have a favorite memory from being a super fan, from being at a Bands of America contest, or anything about your time in the world of marching? Michelle, I'll just randomly start with you again. Do you have a favorite story or memory?
I had to pick one memory. Like I say, I'm going to pick two because my first memory of Bands of America, was my first experience there. Again, going as a band mom, 2011, my daughter's high school made semifinals for the first time, which was a great experience for those kids and the excitement. However, what it did was it made me a fan for life because they were in semifinals. I had to book a Saturday night hotel room, which means I stayed for the gamut. And that was the first finals that I attended. And I haven't missed one since because I was just awed, inspired, and amazed by what I saw. So I guess I lied. I guess I'll just stick with the one memory. That was it. What got me hooked.
That's wonderful. How about you, Mark? Do you have a favorite memory or a favorite moment?
Oh, I do. So it's, again, Chuck Henson ears are going to be burning. But in 2013, Chuck invited me to come up to the booth with him and watch semifinals. And while we were watching semifinals, we were watching William Mason. And that was the show where they had those blow-up dolls and everything. And Chuck and I were just dying laughing. And Chuck almost got in trouble because to announce back in time. And in walks the president of Yamaha, and we were both just dying laughing. And we turn around, and Chuck couldn't get his composure fast enough to greet the president. And that was I never got invited back to the booth after that. So
that's fantastic. I love it. How about you, Kyle?
Let's see, I have two real fast. The first one, 2007 Grand Nationals. I was surrounded by Broken Arrow parents and all that, and they were like, what are we going to be doing for dinner break and stuff? Where do we eat and all that? They were on a budget and all that. I'm like, there's an Arby's just down the street. So I was pretty much their chaperone or a tourist guide and all that. And I took them there, and they actually bought me dinner. I'm like, that was very nice of them. But other than that, my second memory, let's see. Pretty much when my high school stopped competing in Bands of America, I started following Centerville Jazz Band, and I was a big fan starting back in 2004. And I actually, their assistant band director, Scott Gassaway, he was in the band when I was, my junior year. And so I marched the same field with them. I had the Pontiac, Michigan regional and all that. And that was when I first got introduced with Centerville Jazz Band. And after that, back in 2008, I've been following with them, going to their contests and all that. And their band boosters invited me with open arms, saying like, I'm a huge fan. And they really encouraged me to keep on going and everything. So yeah, that's pretty much my only two favorite BOA experiences, I think, so far.
Well, those are great stories. And the thing I like about that, Kyle, is I think people think, people in drum corps have a favorite drum corps. Maybe they follow the Blue Devils, they follow the Phantom Regiment, whatever. But I think sometimes people don't realize that there are fans like yourselves who have a band that you love and you follow year to year, and you get to know their fans. Like, Kyle, I think that's really great. And of course, Centerville Jazz Band is a great group to love. I'm good friends with Wayne Markworth, who was director there for so long. And so I know he will love this story. But Kyle, do you think there are a lot of other fans like yourself who sort of follow a certain group?
Probably for high school and all that, I'm not sure. Drum corps, I can understand, but for high school, I don't know, because in Kentucky, we're pretty much famous for the Class A bands, because mostly Adair, Bourbon, Beechwood, they're all like Class A champions for BOA. But other than that, locally, Beechwood's close by me and everything, but I've been a fan of Centerville, following them, and I just like their style and their artistry and all that, and their program a lot.
Yeah, Mark, you've been nodding your head too. Are you a fan of any certain groups, or do you know people who are?
Oh no, I absolutely am intrigued to see what William Mason is going to come out with every year. That band is just so unique in their approach to design, and they're always entertaining. Just all, and I look forward to what else are they going to pull out of their hat, because it's always a joy.
That's fantastic. So, how about you, Shane? Do you have a favorite memory or story from Bands of America that you'd like to share?
Sure. In 2011, my band used to travel pretty far to go to a BOA regional. We would travel about 8 hours to a regional in Ohio, and it happened. This was a regional in the middle of October, and Ohio in October isn't the best for weather oftentimes. And actually, that specific year we went in 2011, we had just these horrendous winds. I mean, just props flying all over the place, and shakos and feathers kind of just falling off, and all those sorts of things. And I just remember how committed the band was to fulfilling their performance. And I remember just the audience also being just committed to being a great audience, no matter what the weather was, or the conditions that we can't control. So I think that's it was just a great lesson to learn that you can persevere. And Bands of America gave us that opportunity to do that at that show.
I think that's a great story and a great lesson, that I think the audiences are there and they're really pulling for those performers on the field. Any of you others have experiences like that where you felt that because being a part of the audience and you and the rest of the audience was really rooting for a group?
Oh, I do. I remember at St. Louis Super Regional a couple of years ago, one of the bands had a show where they had these inflatable globes, Earth, that the guard actually carried on the field. It was Atlas. It was, the story of Atlas and carrying the world and the globe. And they didn't get the globe fully inflated before their final performance time. So it was very sagging, to lack of a better term. And that guard member and that band went as if those globes were, that globe was surrounded that poor kid and buried him underneath it, but he lugged that thing and performed that show, I think better than they did in prelims. It was absolutely incredible to just watch. Those kids are out there to really just lay it down. I think it's a great it was just a great moment. It was funny visually to look at, but in hindsight you had to just give them that standing ovation like we all do at the end, because they really did it.
Sometimes watching someone overcome an issue and recover from a problem can be as inspiring as anything else that you might see on the field that day. Mark, did you have a story as well?
I was I think it was a couple of years ago. I got Kyle said, I was surrounded by Round Rock parents, and one of my best friends from California, he had never been to Grand National, so he joined me. And we were making a list of who we thought was going to make finals and everything. And I had Round Rock on my list, and one of the parents happened to see my list, and we went to go take a selfie. And I didn't realize it, but after I took it, there's all these Round Rock parents in this selfie. And Drew Bowden at the time was working with Round Rock. He's one of my friends. I sent him that picture to go, hey, you're going to make finals because all your parents are in the picture here.
That's fantastic. Everybody's having fun.
And they did make finals.
Right. No doubt. But that's the point, is that everybody's having a good time. They create an atmosphere of support for all the groups, but also everyone's having such a good time being there and getting to know each other and meet each other. And I love that you guys as super fans are there in the audience. Kyle, you mentioned the boosters of the other programs just were happy to have you be there and support them and sort of join their family.
Yeah, it was great. Let's see. Actually, 2009, Lou Gassaway, Scott Gassaway's mother, the assistant band director for them, She was my first band mom fan, I guess. I don't know, because ever since after her, let's see, I've always been meeting new band moms and all that, so I can have my connection on what's going on, like competitions and all that stuff. So it's pretty great.
Those are good connections to have. Michelle, you can vouch for that as a band mom. You're a good connection for anybody, right?
A great connection to have. In fact, I've made it my mission as a super fan to educate other band moms about Bands of America and how judging works and how the competitions work and how everything works, as I get questions just at local competitions. A couple of friends of mine and I started a Facebook group about 3 years ago called Greater St. Louis Marching. And while we cover local competitions, we also cover the Bands of America competitions, particularly as our local groups attend those. But it's really gotten, I think, a lot more interest in the community. And in fact, one tag on, again, a couple of years ago at the St. Louis Bands of America Super Regional, a bunch of us in this group realized that the parking lot was just a travesty of trash and a mess. And it was embarrassing as regional local residents to have Bands of America come. So through the Facebook group, we organized a huge cleanup crew and went over there before the bands and buses got over in the morning. And a bunch of parents just got together from schools all over and picked up trash and everything that you would imagine would be in a downtown city parking lot.
So you wanted those students to have that great experience that you expected them to have. I think that's fantastic that you guys did that.
So, but yeah, band parents banding together, there's nothing more powerful.
That's true.
You guys all define yourselves as super fans, and I think that you certainly are. And when I put out the megaphone for, hey, I want to talk to some super fans, I appreciate you guys all responding and letting me talk with you today. So I want to go around. I want you to tell me, what is it that you think you can point to sort of prove that you actually are a super fan? Shane, I'll start with you. What would you say to answer that question? How can you prove that you're actually a Bands of America super fan?
Well, I think there are a couple of things. I've been to Grand Nationals twice with no connection or no band kind of at stake. I will scour videos on particularly YouTube months ahead of a show that a band might be going to, just to see, how they're doing or kind of what the show is. And on the flip side, I will go through every recap at the end of the show, as I'm sure at the end of every show, as I'm sure some of you have too, and see if kind of my predictions were right. Because one of the things I think with Bands of America is, school situations change year in and year out. So there's a lot of change that can happen year to year. And it's interesting. And it kind of becomes part of the game of the competition. And I love it.
That's wonderful. That sounds great. Mark, how about you?
I am a lot like Shane. I will look at every recap from every BOA regional all over the country. And I looked at the list of all, I normally order my tickets for Grand Nationals when they come out in August to make sure I have a good seat. And I scour all the recaps from all the regionals going in. I look at the list of every band that's going to be there. I have an idea pretty much of what they've scored coming into Grand Nationals. And I'm like Shane, I have a list of who's going to make semifinals before I even see any of the shows and see how well I match up with the judges. And then Chuck Henson and he always asks me between semifinals and finals, who do I think is going to make finals? So that's I feel really cool about being able to be there. And like I say, I've been through every Grand National since 2010.
Wow, fantastic. How about you, Michelle? What defines you as a super fan?
Guys beat. I go. In fact, I just drove back from Clarksville this morning. It was awesome. A couple of years ago, probably 17 now, on a whim, a friend of mine and I drove to San Antonio for that super regional. If you haven't been to Texas and done that yet, do that in a heartbeat. I have my Grand National hotel rooms booked for the next year as soon as I check out of the hotel, the November that I leave. And my dog's name is Carmel. She was born September 1, 2000. I'm dead serious. She was born 2012. I picked her up the weekend after Grand Nats in 2012, and I was like, Carmel just won with that spider show. Why not Carmel? So, I mean, I guess it could have been worse, right? She could have been named a lot of different things, but she's Carmel. So that's what I got.
All right, everybody at Carmel, did you know that you have dogs named after you out there in the world? That is absolutely phenomenal. All right, Kyle, what makes you a super fan? How can you prove it to us?
Hey, well, here we go. Let's see. 2009, one of the band boosters for Centerville got let's see, these like varsity jackets and everything, and let's see, had to go to the closet to get mine. But yeah, if you can see this in the camera here, has my name there. And it says Centerville Jazz Band fan on the back. And I've been decorating with all these BOA patches and all that throughout the years. Yeah, so let's see. I got 2008 going on all the way to, I got this year's patches on here as well. But other than that, I've been going, let's see, for Grand Nationals since 2002, I guess, yearly. And luckily, I have an aunt and uncle that live in the city, so I don't have to pay for a hotel or so. I'm good there. But it's nice to spend the weekend there to watch all the kids and all that perform their hearts out on that field throughout the weekend. And let's see, pretty much just a band fan for life right here.
Well, there is no question from those explanations that you guys are, in fact, super fans. And Kyle, man, I'm impressed that you already have this year's patches on there. That is amazing. You are on it. All of you guys are wonderful representatives of the fan base and the loyalty that this wonderful Bands of America experience brings out in everybody. And so I appreciate you taking time to talk to me. I'm going to go around and let you say any final thing you want to say about Bands of America or anything in wrapping up. Shane, I'll start with you. Do you have anything that you want to just say about all this before we go?
Yes. I think what makes Bands of America so special is kind of how almost the sheets set up the show. So, we talk about all the time how we don't have performance captions for guard or brass or percussion. And I think people in the community think about that as kind of a negative or a downside. But I think what that has allowed within the bands that participate in Bands of America is just this enormous breadth of creativity within the shows. And kind of anything can work. And you can kind of build your show in any way with the resources that you have. So it kind of puts all bands on a more even playing field. And I think it's just so special to really celebrate that and at every show.
That's great. Mark, what would you like to say in closing?
I'm just excited to have Grand National this year because we missed it last year. And there was a huge void, I know, in my life, and I'm sure in many, many kids' lives. And being an instructor and having other friends that are instructors, we all talked about that. Going to Grand Nationals is like a big family reunion. It really is. And I get to see so many friends and see so many performances. And I always meet someone new every year. And I am so happy that we're going to be able to do that again this year because I just miss being there in that atmosphere and watching those kids just put it all up in line, whether they make finals or not, they are just there to just perform and you can just feel it in the audience. I'm getting choked up talking about it. So I'm excited to have it back and I look forward to seeing everybody this year.
That's great. How about you, Kyle?
Yeah, I pretty much agree with all that Mark said and everything. I'm glad that marching season is back. and it's running smoothly so far. And I'm looking forward to going to the Super Regional in Indy and Grand Nationals and all that in November. And I'm just glad that everything's going smoothly and go on and from there, and hope everyone has a good rest of their season.
Mm-hmm.
That's great. So, Michelle, you're going to get to wrap up our super fan conversation. What would you like to say in closing?
Everybody, particularly parents who feel like they're involved in the activity for such a limited time because their child graduates, that it's not just an activity that your kid did for 4 years. If you really enjoyed it and enjoyed hearing the music and stuff, Bands of America and the marching community in general is a community, and it's something you can get involved in a lot of ways, whether it's being on the forums, the boards, whether it's taking the opportunity to volunteer at a Bands of America events and really get to see behind the scenes. If you enjoy band, do it. I mean, that's been kind of my message. I've met friends from Texas and Florida and Indiana that are dear, dear friends to me now. And we all share this because we're part of the community. It's something we love and talk about just like we would a fantasy football league, for lack of a better term. So get involved, because it's such a positive environment to be involved in.
Well, again, you guys are great representatives of that community that Bands of America has fostered. And I love that you are so passionate about it and that you're there cheering on those students every single year and participating and creating friends and talking amongst yourselves and have fun predicting who might win. I think it's awesome that you guys are doing all that. So thank you for talking to me, Shane, Mark, Kyle, Michelle. You guys were wonderful. Thank you.
All right. Thank you.
Thanks, Tim.